Hello and welcome back to the Winning Agenda's coverage of the SANSAN finals, brought to you from Melbourne. I'm Jesse Marshall, here with Wilfy Horig.
Hello, and I'm on the screen again.
Once again, we get to make this fantastic joke for all of your enjoyment.
Yeah, it's okay. We won't make the joke this time. We'll just say that I'm sure everyone is very excited to see me on screen.
Yeah,
so
and me as well. My shoes are there, I think, in the top left corner. It's very exciting.
Wow.
So you've got a Bankers Group, another Asset, and Sweeps Week turn one.
Yeah, so
Pretty good start.
I think so. Both my centrals open, but I don't think that's a huge deal.
Except that you've been legworked.
True.
A little frustrating, but you get to bounce a Desperado. Because you access the Archangel as well.
Exactly. So I think that was the reason I wasn't so worried about necessarily protecting HQ with the Archangel. I think I'd rather kind of surge ahead with assets as soon as possible to try and generate some advantage, even though the breaking news got scored.
And Rob on the right there is playing Andromeda. It's a little bit hidden by the glare and the Media Blitz playmat, but it's at the top of your screen, at the NDID. So were you not a little worried about Siphon as well? Probably not.
No.
For the tags and...
Yeah, not really, I think. If he wants to Siphon and clear both the tags on turn one, I think that's a reasonable trade.
Mm-hmm. Particularly when you'd have the sweeps.
Yeah.
And you had the Bankers in play. Yeah. So it was unlikely the Siphon was going to be effective at stymieing your game plan. So now we've had Jackson draw up and pitch a card.
Yes, I think I just Jackson used it once I didn't find an ice apart from the Archangel. I used it again.
Mm-hmm. And then we've got Desperado, Siphon, remove 2 tags.
Yeah, which is okay. Like, that's getting to a point where it's actually a reasonable value for Rob. So I think
I think it's still fine for you. Like, it's another turn of Bankers.
Yeah, like that's the thing, right? I didn't protect HQ because I was not really worried about Siphon, and I thought that was fairly unlikely. Another legwork was fairly unlikely.
Mm-hmm. So now Rob gets the Temujin on R&D.
Yep. It's seeing a resistor, which I've helpfully, well, not so helpfully, but I have held up to the camera.
And Rob trashing the Bankers, taking the tag, and then removing the tag, presumably?
No, I think I'm working out what the trace is going to be. It's going to be 4. So he's working out what he wants to do. I think he's just going to pay the 3 since...
Yes.
That's usually better if you have a link. So I think he might try and go for...
Yeah, he's going for HQ.
Yep. Yeah, since I just scored the Astro.
3 6s in a row. What a lucky man.
My God.
And then a 2. What's this one? It's a breaking news. That's a little annoying for you.
It is a little annoying. I recall that being the only agenda I have in my hand, so...
And killing that Temujin at that point would have been nice.
Yes.
Yeah, install advance, score the breaking news on the SANSAN, and then all-seeing eye.
Definitely.
Or trash the Temujin manually.
Yeah, so getting it scored is a little frustrating, but I will survive.
So Jackson draw... Bankers goes down.
Yep.
That was definitely a nice one to draw.
Yeah.
And then the ice on R&D, which presumably is that resistor,
yes.
which was on top.
Yeah, so I think Rob realizes this and is getting what looks like a paperclip.
It's an Inti.
Oh, it's an Inti.
Yeah.
Oh, of course. Oh, that's right. That turned out much worse than I was hoping for because of the
fact that Inti costs 0?
Yep. Because of the fact that he has Inti in his deck. And I think there was a closed accounts that we saw.
Right.
So yeah, he's running the SANSAN. Not too bad an idea. But is letting me, like, it doesn't have the clicks to check the Bankers.
Yep. So now you must be considering spending the Astro counter to kill the Temujin.
Yes. But I think it's more likely that I'm going to find something that I can put in R&D because, as you might notice, I already have a toll booth in hand.
Yeah.
So worst case, I can just play toll booth on R&D and sweeps.
Okay.
But I think I've chosen not to.
Perhaps you're worried about Siphon?
Yeah. So why would I have put the ice on the remote? I'm not sure exactly. We will ponder this for a while.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. You certainly had a lot of action cards in your hand.
Yes.
Between sweeps.
Yeah, like
breaking news.
Definitely I want to put it on HQ because I'm worried about Siphon at this point. But it seems like from the current state of the game, it would have been better to put the ice on R&D rather than on the Jackson.
So wraparound also not doing a lot of work here.
No. And like I did discard some useful cards. Like I discarded a sweep, so it's not like the ice in my hand is all blank.
So you're drawing through your deck at a rapid pace here, but not
not really
developing your credits
not
particularly
really
well.
get it now that the bankers are gone. Not really getting what I want out of it, I think.
Yeah. And so the second Jackson's staying there, and I think that's a stray credit in Rob's credit pool. So he may be on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or is that the security? The Temujin marker.
I'm not
quite sure.
Yeah. But yeah, so I'm just recouping my credits a little bit, which is reasonable. I think we've gotten to a point where we both have fairly few things, but I still am worried about this R&D thing.
So it's another breaking news gone, but he's seen a hard-hitting news, which when you're ahead on credits is not great, although he has the gamble to get out of it. So Rob... Oh, it's a 5. So Rob's on 5, 10, 14.
I say 14, yeah.
Yeah. And you've had the Sensi there.
Yep. Oh, maybe the ice on the Jackson is another resistor. That's certainly possible. And I'm hoping that will transition to a scoring server once I can stick some tags on him.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like the allowing the Temujin to finish up was not great.
Yeah, I'm definitely skeptical about it.
Because it's put Rob in a position where, his board's pretty good and he's high on credits.
Yeah, the hard-hitting news really rapidly lost its effectiveness.
Yeah.
And now he's just been able to kind of go 1-for-1 for the assets without losing too much.
And are you using both Jacksons here?
Yeah, I think at this point I have a fair few things that I want to shuffle back in.
Okay. So some money...
I think I'm just...
you're just putting it all there?
Yeah.
Okay. Presumably the bankers and the sensies will go back. Okay, bankers, SANSANs. I think you need some money after that. Possibly.
Possibly.
Although, yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's fine. Between sensies and sweeps week, I think it's pretty close.
Yeah, I think I've decided that since he has no head cards, I haven't seen networking so far, and I would be surprised to see one in his hand. I'm mostly just trying to whittle him down by playing assets and forcing him to deal with them.
Mm-hmm.
And since the sports hopper got discarded as well, that becomes much more viable.
And SANSAN does deal quite well with Siphon as well in this sort
Yes.
of matchup.
So yeah, I think my hand is kind of fuller of agendas than I would like.
And another Jackson as well, I think I can see in there.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Well, it's okay, but you probably don't want it right now.
No.
After just having spent 2.
Yeah,
You'd
that's
rather
true.
it be a little further down in the deck.
Yeah, so Rob installs Passport and runs, steals a bill. Now I'm sort of sweating bullets. But thankfully no 7th
No
point.
steal?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no 7th point is forthcoming for him.
Okay. So, yeah, Rob's now on 6. There is a little bit of glare there, but it's 2 breaking news, a Beal, and...
It's 3 breaking news.
3
and a
breaking
bill.
news and a Beal, okay.
Yeah, so it's a bit annoying that all my breaking news are gone. That really makes the Astro a lot worse because it means I basically have to score a GFI. It makes both Astro and Exchange much worse.
And SANSAN.
And SANSAN. Oh, SANSAN's still okay because at least
SANSAN
you
can help, yeah.
score Beals with it. Yeah, I'm not too worried about it. I wouldn't be too disappointed to draw SANSAN.
Mm.
But yeah, so I'm on 14 credits, he's on 5, but R&D is still open.
Yeah.
I would assume that's maybe the Archangel that's been there for ages. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, bouncing the Desperado.
So is that a passport?
Yeah, it's a
He
passport.
just didn't want to
No,
break?
he only has 5 credits.
Ah, right, okay, sure.
Yeah, so I guess he must have not wanted to break it.
I guess he could have fought the trace if he wanted to spend all 5 credits
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah. Yeah, so I think the plan... I remember now. I think the plan is to have the potential of letting Archangel fire multiple times if he really needs to get into HQ, sort of like the Data Raven thing.
Yeah.
And so the not spending all his credits gives him the potential of doing that sooner rather than later, since he's only looking for one more agenda.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think this is the turn where there's a Sensi there, and I kind of forgot to res it because I thought it was a Jackson.
Okay.
Which is very annoying.
There was a Jackson there.
I think one's a Jackson, one's a Sensi. The unprotected one.
But there was a res Jackson. I didn't see what you did with it.
Was there? Maybe. Or maybe I tried to res it and then realized it was a Sensi or something.
Maybe, I'm not sure. But you've got the...
Yep. It's okay.
Toll booth on something. The Sensi's going and Rob's taking another tag.
Yeah, because his Arabian Heart ain't used, so I think he's just decided to... Oh, right, so that must have been the toll booth that was protecting the Jackson. So that was why I put it there, because I didn't have enough money to res it, and I wanted to keep it for the scoring server.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, as you said, it did turn out to be very awkward to let Rob have basically unfettered access to R&D and let the Temujin pay out. So it's possible that I would have been able to put it on R&D and maybe keep a smaller ice for HQ. Just keep a smaller ice for the remote.
For the remote, yeah.
Especially since it turned out that the breaker he played was Passport. Like, of course, he would have another secondary breaker, but... So, yeah, I mean, Passport is a secondary breaker. I mean that it's still possible that a small ice, like switching the Enigma and the Toll Booth, might have been better because it would have allowed me to kind of prevent that Temujin from firing for as long as it did.
So now you've stabilised. There was a turn. Rob's gained 4. You've closed accounts him. He's gained 4 again, and you've resed the bankers on the backswing.
Yeah.
Which is a very good exchange for you.
Yeah.
Because you got 2 clicks and then a full turn in exchange for his full turn.
Yep. And that Beal that's been sitting there for ages is getting scored.
Okay. So that puts you up to 4. So now you can install a GFI on a SANSAN.
Yes, and then score it in one
score
turn. So it's not obvious that's a GFI. Yep. And that's going to be my plan, I think. Yeah, the fact that I have this exchange here kind of doing nothing is a bit annoying. Like sitting in my hand.
Yeah. And you've got 2 GFIs in hand, which could have been 1 if you'd used the Sensi. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely I'm not claiming to be a paragon of excellent netrunner. But yeah, so
what relevant cards are there left for you here? I mean, you're looking at an empty board, but there are 2 breakers in Rob's hands that are going to allow him to get into R&D, which only cost him 1 credit total to install.
Well, the problem is he can't break the
resistor easily, yeah.
So he's going to either need to do something about the tags, or he's locked out of R&D functionally. Like, he can just get a lot of credits and run, and then, spend some in the case they don't boost the trace, but that's fairly not good, I think.
So you really want another resistor or something to lock down HQ?
Yeah, at the moment it's not the best situation. So I've installed double advanced.
Interesting.
Well, I can gain a credit, then double advance in Astro.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and I think the fact that so I think I've realized that that's going to be my best route to victory, is hoping he doesn't have inside job.
Yeah.
Since
it's pretty low chance that he has inside job at this point, I think, because the Beal did sit there for a couple of turns, so he would have had to draw it in the intervening turns.
Exactly. Yeah. I think he might be drawing to find it, maybe.
So his first click draw, and he's only got 2 credits.
Yeah, and I think this way, instead of just installing, advancing once, gaining credit is because this is, I think, more resilient to Siphon.
Yeah. So Rob's gone all in on fighting that resistor trace.
Yep. And yeah, this is his
This
last
is it.
action.
It's the
Yeah,
1 in 4.
This is it. And he scores the GFI. So yeah.
Well done, Rob, and well done, Wilfy. I think you both got yourselves into a position there where you could obviously have won the game.
Yeah, very interesting game. I think it's possible from the way the game turned out that I could have done something more early to stop his development rather than just sort of advancing mine and sort of trying to fight him by going over the top. But I'm not sure whether that would have been better.
It's always an interesting conundrum with criminals, I think, particularly with Andy. You know, when it was security testing, you really wanted to ice all your centrals so that they couldn't keep developing their board, because criminals can sort of stutter out and then have to spend a turn recovering a little later on, which can give you a window.
Right.
If you do that early.
But if you just sit there for too long, then you're just going to bleed. You're at risk of giving them too many accesses.
Yes. And you're at risk of allowing their other tools, which are powerful at sort of prizing open a window for themselves through account siphon and other things. You're at risk of allowing those things to break a hole in your game plan in the middle of the game. So, yeah, it's always tough. I think you both found a way to deal with the threats that were presented to you. You know, you managed to get Rob down to a small number of credits there at the end and give yourself what looked like a scoring window, and Rob still managed to...
Well, it was a scoring window, definitely.
Yeah,
so
and Rob still managed to get...
the one place he could, effectively, yes. Which, very classic Netrunner from both sides, I think.
So well done. Good game.